All right. Cut that. Listen. All right. I'm here. Bless up, everybody. First of all, I'm here to react to the video that Stephen A. That ESPN put out with Stephen A. Smith and a couple other people on the panel, basically reacting to what Noah Lyles said in his interview about NBA championships. Basically, Noah Lyles was saying that uh, the people that win the NBA, they shouldn't have the right to crown themselves as world champions, and because they truly aren't. And there's a lot of uproar about this. There's a lot of athletes. There's a lot of musicians that are, basically chiming in with their opinion to say, oh, now Lyles is a hater. He's a cloud chaser, and how much he's wrong and everything like that. So I'm here to react to that because I think that Noah Lyles is right. So let's go ahead and react. All right.
Thing that hurts me the most is that I have to watch the NBA Finals and they have world champion on their head. World champion of what? The United States? Don't get me wrong. I love the U.S. at times. But that ain't the world. That is not the world. We are the world. We have almost every country out here fighting, thriving, putting on their flag to show that they are represented. There ain't no flags in the NBA.
All right. Before they get into it, guys, I'm going to say I agree with Noah Lyles. It's true. I'm not going to go into a lot until they start talking because I'm here to counter what Stephen A is saying. He did bring up some kind of okay points, but for the most part, I would say Stephen A is 90% wrong in what he's saying. But it's a good try, Stephen A. It's a good try. So let's get into it.
NBA players not happy with Lyles here reacting on IG, led by Kevin Durant saying, quote, somebody help this brother. Stephen A., any issues with Lyles' comments?
Well, the only issue that I have with Noah Lyles is that, first of all, congratulations to your greatness. Continue to represent this country the way that you did. Major props to you. I'm sure he's a good brother and the whole bit. He just came across as flagrantly ignorant, and that needs to be said. The NBA has established itself as a global iconic brand. Arguably the best player in the game today in a lot of people's eyes is Nikola Jokic. Okay, you've got guys from Serbia, Slovenia, the list goes on. Luka Doncic, where's he from? All right, Giannis Antetokounmpo, where's he from? Greece. I'm looking at a number right here. According to the news release posted just last October, the NBA currently features 120 players from 40 countries and 6 continents on its roster.
Okay, hold on, because he said a lot there. All right. Well, first thing, right? The NBA drafts 60 new players each year, and 9 to 15 of them are from international leagues. The average international player has to be exceptionally better than the average NBA player to make the draft. Do you agree or do you disagree? This is evident where you can see how many international players become stars and superstars. Namely, all those players that Stephen A just listed. So, point I'm trying to make to counter what Stephen A is saying right there is all these players that are so good are international, and there's only 9 to 15 of them that are drafted out of the 60 new players each year. That's probably I want to say, I have to use my calculator, but maybe that's about 15% thereabout. I'm not sure. I like to use my calculator, but carry on, Stephen A.
For last season, and it's increased now. So how is that not global? How is that not the world champion? The best players from around the world descend upon America to join the National Basketball Association.
Well, hold on. He said something about 450 players being in the NBA. I'm not sure if he said something, but there's 450 players in the NBA. So that means, let's see, he said 60 players Yeah, right. There's 450 players in the NBA right now, right?
Of the 450 plus players, nearly a third of them are international players. And the international
Run that
best
back.
players.
Run that back.
All right, Giannis Antetokounmpo, where is he from? Greece. I'm looking at is from 40 countries and 6 features 120 players from 40 countries and 6 continents on its roster.
Okay, so he said there's 140 players currently in the NBA from 6 continents. Well, there's 450 players in the NBA right now. So that would mean that only a quarter of the NBA players are international. So that goes to show that yes, my point earlier, it takes the average international player has to play exceptionally better than the average NBA player here. As you can see in the recruiting process, there's still more American players that are recruited. Does that mean the American players are better? I don't think so. I just think that you want to get people drafted that are actually in the country playing basketball. You know, you don't want to give too much international people the shine. You know what I mean? When there's a lot of people here that can play basketball. So of course the drafting process is different. They're not drafting equally among the entire world.
For last season, and it's increased now. So how is that not global? How is that not the world champion? The best players from around the world descend upon America to join the National Basketball Association. Of the 450 plus players, nearly a third of them are international players.
Wrong. That's not a third. I could pull up my calculator right now. Let's see. Let me pull up my calculator right now, because Stephen A is fudging the numbers here. Let's see. 140 divided by 450. That's 31%. So yeah, I guess he's right. It's nearly a third, but 31%. A third would be 33 and 333. So I'll give him that one.
And the international players, rather than stay over there or electing to stay over in their respective countries or in Europe, China, or wherever the case may be, to play basketball, they want to come to the league, the NBA, because it's the best basketball league on the planet. So Noah Lyles said a very, very, very ignorant comment.
Okay, well, let's think about why the NBA is the best league in the world, right? Sponsorship and ad revenue. There's no other basketball league in the world that has this amount of money in sponsorship and ad revenue. I mean, maybe the closest one is China. China has a league, but it's not as profitable as it is as the NBA is, because the audience are more interested in other sports. I think the basketball is originally an American sport. A lot of countries are now just catching on, but there's a lot of countries that have been playing basketball for quite some time, and they have established leagues and everything like that, but they don't have the sponsorship and the viewings from the people of that country, because the people of that country are interested in other sports and other things. That doesn't mean that they're any less talented than the NBA players. Of course, international players are gonna want to come to the Mecca here in the United States to play basketball, because that's where most of the viewership is, and that's where most of the money is.
Because almost a third of the players are from around the world. Again, 40 countries, 6 continents. One could easily argue that NBA players compete more against international competition than he does.
Hold on. Stick a pin right there. He said the NBA, one could argue that NBA players play among more international people than he does. Well, let's think about the number here, right? There's a third of the people in the NBA are international. So that means each player would, let's say on average, would play against a third of the players that they play against on a daily basis would be international. Well, usually in a field, Noah Lyles will be running in a sport and competing. He'll probably compete with maybe another U.S. athlete in that same track event, or maybe like let's say even two, three of them are competing in the whole event, right? But listen, there's like 5, 6 heats. Each heat race is like 8 people. So if you really think about it, there's like 6 people times 8 for 6 heats. That's 48 people, right? And maybe 3 of them are United States citizens. So when you think about it, 3 divided by 48, then really it's just 6% of the people. It's just 6% of the people that Noah is competing against that's from the United States, and then the other 94% is international. So what is he saying?
I'm just saying.
Back to the last two NBA MVPs are Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic. So both of those are from outside of America. Also, the number one pick in the NBA draft was Victor Wembanyama from France. So,
and why do you think that the European players so many European players are stars? Obviously, because they're picking the best of the best, the most incredible players from Europe and over the world. Like if you're just an average player in Europe or anywhere else in the world, you're not gonna make the league. You could be an average player in the United States and make the league.
I agree with Stephen A. Like the best, maybe not the best, but the most skilled hoopers are probably Europeans, or right now are non-Americans.
Right now,
especially the
yeah.
young ones. So there's a great amount of
And that says a lot.
global growth in the NBA.
No, the NBA has done an incredible job, obviously internationally, incredibly. We know the NFL is trying to catch up. But I will say, if we're just mincing words, to his point of technically, even though it's from different countries, it isn't really a world championship when we talk about the NBA. It's still, if we were going to call it the...
What's the name of this lady? Can't remember her name. But she's making a whole lot of sense. She's really showing up Stephen A. and this other guy that's sitting on the right of the screen. She's making a lot of sense. Come on, guys.
Right, it would be the U.S. championship.
Well,
that's
disagree.
essentially what he's saying.
But I disagree. I know exactly what he was saying, and I hear where you're coming from. I just disagree with him because he's going out there to represent the United States of America, and he's competing against some people from his own country. He's competing against, obviously, people from other countries. Well, guess what? So are the NBA players.
Yep.
Now, the NFL is different. The NFL might take the NFL product and they might go, and play in London or play in Germany and stuff like that. And you get all that, and they're trying to do more to expand its brand and become more globalized. We get that.
The talent level is also very different in that sport.
Exactly. So you have to look at it from that perspective. But in the sport of basketball, literally there are basketball leagues all over the world. But they come to the NBA because the NBA is the best. And you have players from other countries, elite players, Joel Embiid, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jokic, Luka Doncic,
Adding to the point.
others.
You added to my point.
Tony Parker from France.
You added to my point. Added to my
Basketball
point.
Hall of Fame. You're seeing people. I mean, obviously Manu Ginobili and others. You're seeing international competition. Just because you play in the league, which is American, the diverse talent where the talent comes from can't be escaped. The NBA being called a world champion in basketball for the NBA is apropos because the competition competing against one another is worldwide.
There's a difference between world champion and Olympic champion. I feel like he might have been trying to reference like the Olympics and kind of missing the point that the NBA pulls from the whole world. That's why it's called world champion.
He said what he
It's
said.
not an Olympic champion because
he said what he
weren't
said.
on that stage and the NBA didn't, or the Team America didn't beat somebody, and nor today. He's still a world champion, and the NBA people are still competing against the best of the world. So I agree with Steve. Technically, they are.
There's no semantics in world champion. World champion is world champion, guys.
The definition of world champion. They're not Olympic champion.
Yeah, and I'm going to assume, which we should never do in life, that maybe he isn't privy to the fact of how international actually the NBA.
All right, I can't watch anymore. Anyways, conclusion, guys. If the NBA should be considered world champions in basketball, then the English Premier League should be world champions in soccer. They both are the best leagues in talent as it relates to the respective sports. However, unlike basketball, soccer sees world championships differently. So much so that the best region in the world is crowned European champions and not world champions. I know Noah expressed his opinion in a manner of ridicule, but I have to say, guys, He's right. He's right. He's right. He's right.